Well, you're going to have to be one of my video fans to watch this one here, because you know today's my birthday. Today's a Sunday. My phone isn't ringing. I even kicked back a little bit. I'm not about to shave and clean up for something like this, but look at this more for the information than actually who's giving it, kind of like Vince Lombardi. He's doing process on 100% poly, which I'm sure they are. I have not seen any pictures in any of the groups that I'm in, and I'm kind of all over the place. This turned out really nice for me if you take into effect that I do have a nice screen burner, but I use foam for compression. Printed this on a manual, a Lawson 6.4, one of the old HDs that holds register forever. I bought it off the showroom floor in '85, I believe, in Atlanta. But my pallets aren't flat, one of them's not level, and it's got dirty pallet tape on it. So if this looks like this, if you print it like this on a flat level neoprene aluminum pallet with 70, 90, 70 tri-blades, I suppose your process ink of choice, but I've always used Union. These have a white base because they're on multiple color poly shirts. These shirts here, I printed on poly shirts back in the 80s when they first come out, and you couldn't give them away because they was too hot to wear. And then somebody had the idea of you're really sweating and a breeze comes along, it's a really cool shirt to have on then. So that's the way they marketed it this time, and you might as well get used to it. We're going to have to print it for a while. These have got an underbase on them, and because of my pallets, I didn't do like a dot on dot underbase to where if you considered each color being printed perfectly, because I couldn't do it at the time. I did put everything in 230s, and the way that I print on the automatic now, a 230 is too small of a screen to try to do this. But when I manual print, I might do something a little bit different on each pallet. That's just the way I've always done it. I just do it to make whichever job you're doing at the time look the best that it can at the other end of the drive. Okay, now all that said, I said, I set this in quick seps now, because I mean that's the one I use. I know people use different things. I know people send everything off to be sepped. You know that I do a lot of seps for the small guys, because the small guys is really the only ones I give a shit about. The upper echelon and the people that they think they are, I don't even want to try to talk to them, because I would need to be in a sterile shop and using top grade equipment to speak the same language that they do, so I don't even try. But now if I can help the new guys coming up, even if everybody watches this video, it only helps one, then it's been worth my time spent. Self-promotion plug, don't forget now, I've got my own screen print form, the TTSF. It's in its infancy, and there's quite a few things that will be happening by year end, so if you've got the time, I'd be honored if you stopped in and just seen if anything was going on. Another thing on this is I debated whether or not using true process colors, or, because for me personally, the yellow and the red is the key, or the things that I fight the most, or whatever you want to call it. And a person that I'm so lucky to be able to call a friend, Andy Anderson, we was having a phone conversation one day, and he explained the way they used to do it, even with max opaque inks. Now if you can think about it, printing processed colors with processed ink is enough of a feat using this modern technology. But pre-computers, pre-process ink, when Max Opaque was the only thing you had and you was using hand-stretched screens on manuals long before you could get your first automatic, because there was none out there at the time. He used to print, or the way he used to print, he explained to me, and I've printed like 4 jobs in the last few months that after talking to him I would have printed different. This one, like I said, just happened to work out with process inks, but if it had not, I was going to a Plastisol red and a Plastisol blue, white first, red second, yellow third, blue, and then black. And if you've seen mine in his video, or you've ever seen any of his work, that rascal knows what he's talking about. And I'm tickled to be at a place in my life to where somebody like that even knows I exist. But here's what they turned out like. Come run the camera around here. Here's the first one I done, and I did it on a Piquet sample that I got from the new company that I'm getting ready to use for my poly tees, because Mark told me about them, and they make a USA poly, and they make one even in military green. Expert.com. And then there's one on their shirt that's the tan. There's one on like a Columbia blue. There's one on black, and that shirt right there is 6 hours after it's been printed. If you've printed as long as I have, you run into situations to where a shirt that's going to bleed, be it 50-50, this new 100% poly or whatever, you will be able to tell some difference at the end of the dryer if it's going to be a problem child. If you don't see any then, it will still could possibly be a different color a few hours later or even days later. But I'm confident, being the technical printer that I've turned myself into now, technology wise, that this shirt did not bleed. After I flashed before I printed, and then I flash print, I did each color flash print, because in a 230 on a manual, the way that I'm fighting my tables, I would have got way too much dot gain. So like I said, I just do things the way that I have to do it to make the end result close to what I'm after. Yeah, this can be printed better, but if you worked on my equipment, I would damn near challenge you to say that after we printed a day together. That's it. Love you guys.